Hi guys, I'm Smithers, and what I want to build tonight is an engine stand for Volkswagen Beetle engines, and I want a stand that I can actually fire the engine up on outside of the car. So what I use is this old transaxle, and it'll be perfect for this project because it'll bolt the starter in the exact right place. And let me tell you a little bit about this transaxle. It had gears stripped out inside. It had a spline that came through right here, was completely sheared off, and it had a massive crack across the top of the transaxle here. So if ever there was a good candidate for a transaxle to chop up for a project like this would be it. I would never destroy a good transaxle for this, but like I said, what I want to do, I want it to set about this high, and I want to build steel legs and a big steel base, and I want it to be rubberized, but I want to have its own fuel cell, battery, and all I need is a couple wires, and like I say, I'll be able to fire up an engine, get it tuned in. I got a couple I need to rebuild and stuff, so this is the start of it. I took a big cutting wheel here, and I chopped it here, and I'm getting ready to build legs and stuff on it. But I want to show you how to, I need to remove these studs, so let me show you how to do that. I got one of these studs out here, and I need to take all of them out, so I'll go ahead and I'll show you how to remove these threaded studs. First thing I'm going to do is start a nut on, use a wrench here, leave the wrench on the bottom. Put a second nut on, use a ratchet here, and lock them together real tight, and then using the wrench from the bottom nut, there we go, get started. Once it's loose, the ratchet should take it all the way out. There we go. There's another stud out. I'm going to take the rest of them out on both sides. Well, guys, I cut out a couple chunks of angle iron, and I got them bolted up on this transaxle here. And I started to build the lower framework for this. I got to weld all this up. I got it drawn out square on my floor. Here's the base all welded up. That's what I got so far. I got the uprights welded up to this little plate on the base here, and there's rubber behind all these bolts to help with vibrations, and I also cut this chunk of rubber out. It's going to actually go under this before I bolt it together. Well, I got the two sections bolted together, and I got a chunk of rubber in between them that'll help with vibrations while the motor's running. And I'm guessing this rubber is probably about a 1/4 inch thick. It was actually a semi-mud flap, and I cut out a couple more pieces. I'm going to make an additional mount that bolts right here, and I'm going to weld it to the frame. And the way I've been cutting this is on my table saw. It actually worked really easily, and it made a nice cut on it. So I'll go ahead and take this chunk of angle iron here and see if I can fabricate another mount. Well, guys, I just finished this lower mount. I got it welded to the structure, and I got this angle iron heated up and bent into shape. I drilled holes and bolted it, and I had to go with a thicker chunk of rubber. This is a 1/2 inch chunk because it got kind of tight here in the center, see? But it's mounted up really similar to if it were in the actual Beetle itself. So the bell housing's complete. It's ready for a motor to be bolted to it. So I'm going to move on to making a tray back here for a battery. Guys, I got this battery tray finished, and it's all welded on, done. And I also built this handle so I can guide this thing around. I'm going to be putting casters on it. These are the casters I'm going to use. They're pretty heavy duty. They'll hold a lot of weight. The solid ones are going on the front, and then I have these ones that swivel I'm gonna make a mount here for the back so I can steer it from the rear, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make some mounts and get these casters on. Well, guys, I got all 4 casters on this engine stand, and the ones in the rear of it here swivel all the way around so I can steer it from the back, and the ones in the front are mounted solid. But it took a little bit of work to cut these tabs and shape them and weld them in place. But the biggest time saver has been that I've been collecting a few extra grinders, and it makes quicker work when you don't gotta switch the grinder wheel each time. I got a different grinder for each function. I got a cutter, a sander, a grinder, and then the large grinder will knock out work real quick. Yeah, it functions really nice. I got the handle finished up, and I got this upright welded on, and this mount here is gonna hold my gas tank. Well, guys, I think I've got everything built on this. I think all the welding's done. I added a little fuel cell up here. I don't need a very big tank for what this is, and the control panel, I got a ignition switch. The little LED light will come on when it's on. I got a starter here. It's a momentary push button. It's only engaged while I hold the button in, and a little fuse here. I'm going to wire it up after I paint it, so it's time to tear it back down, clean it up, and get some paint on it. One other thing I added, see how it rolls really nice? This is going to be, see, a little rubberized brake or stopper. Okay, so when the motor's in it, it wants to stay put. So yeah, I'm going to tear it back down and get some paint on it. Well, guys, I took everything apart and painted all the pieces, and a couple days later I got it all bolted back together, and it's finished. I also mounted a starter on here, and I built a wire harness for it, and I built a couple battery cables. One of them grounds directly to the frame here, and the other one, the positive, goes to the starter here. This wire works off this ignition switch, which has a little LED light on it. This powers up the coil, which is all this motor needs to run, which is the cool thing about a Volkswagen engine. It takes very little wiring to run the motor. And I also got an inline fuse here, 20 amp fuse, and starter button. It sounds a little different because it doesn't have the strain of the motor on that starter. But other than that, I got my fuel tank on here, but I did buy a new fuel line and a new inline filter and an inline shutoff valve, and I'll put those on when I put a motor on it. But it is ready for that. It's ready to mount the motor on, and I have one I took out of my Beetle, and I need to put it on here. It knocks really bad. I need to rebuild the motor, and it's going to be on this stand for a little while. Here it is, guys. I got my motor mounted on this stand, and this is out of a '69 Beetle. It's a 1600cc engine, and it knocks really loud. I don't want to run it the way it is. I don't want to cause any more damage, but I'm going to do the rebuild right here on this stand, and I will fire it up after the rebuild to tune it in and break it in. Thanks a lot for following along on this build, guys.